evening, good day, and good time zone to you all, and welcome back to our second of 3 live streams to go ahead and talk about
le
what's going to
deuxième
be coming
parmi les
with
trois.
Destiny 2
Allez,
into
c'est
the
parti.
light on April 9th. As a reminder, everything you're about to see is available to all players, just as was everything
Et
last week
rappelle
when
que
we
tout est
had
gratuit
a chance to go ahead and walk
pour tous les
through
joueurs.
Onslaught. Now, today we've obviously got a few topics that we touched on last week. We got a new social space to go ahead and check out. We're going to look at some rewards, obviously, and maybe an up-close and personal look at the Brave Arsenal. But of course, I'm not the only one who's going to be talking through it. I'm joined by an all-star cast of folks here from the Bungie development team, and I'm going to go ahead and go on down the line and introduce them. If you were here last week, you obviously recognize his face, but Tom Farnsworth, Senior Design Lead.
Oh, de nouvelles têtes. Encore. Hein. Et salut les lions. Coincé dans les bouchons, pas les lions. Et salut Lionel.
And obviously there's some stuff we're going to be looking at today that's kind of like full circle.
Yeah.
You know, the Space Tiger logo and Into the Light there from the early days of Destiny. And I've been fortunate to, you know, I was able to place the Kavastov way back.
Si jamais c'est pas assez fort, dites-le moi les gars, j'augmenterai.
Yeah, that was something. Obviously, it was Foundations Are Stronger Than Heroes is a big team effort, but there's a few things that I'm really having had a chance to work proud
Le 9 avril.
to interact with players, and then there's some things I'm a little more infamous for, like placing the drop pods in Homecoming.
So follow him on Twitter, let him know how you thought about that, right?
And then over the past few years, I've been working on seasons and things like the 30th and Into the Light as a creative lead.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you very much for your hard work. As someone who's played a lot of it, excited to
J'ai augmenté un peu.
with even more of it today. And of course, also we're joined by Chris Proctor, Senior Design Lead here at Bungie. Chris, for the fine folks at home who may not have heard you on a podcast or know anything about you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Bungie?
Yeah, hey Andy, thanks. Yeah, I joined Bungie 4.5 years ago as weapons.
Ça fait 4 ans et demi qu'il travaille pour Bungie là. Je l'ai jamais vu. Il s'est pas fait virer lui.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Et salut Lost.
Like a bunch of greatest hits.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be cool. We obviously have a lot of
Et salut
stuff to
Tonio.
talk through with the Brave Arsenal today, and greatest hits, I think, is probably the best way to describe it. And of course, last but very not least, down at the
Et du
end,
coup, c'est qui la
the one
sœur?
and only Kelsey Rice, systems designer here at Bungie. Kelsey, how you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing great.
All right, well,
Thanks for having me.
obviously the third verse, same as the second and the first. For the folks at home who may not know you or know anything about your work, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Bungie?
Yes, I'd love to. First, yes, I'm a systems designer at Bungie. I've been here for about 2.5 years.
Ça fait 2 ans et demi qu'elle travaille pour Bungie, elle. Elle aussi, elle a survécu à la vague de...
The fabric that holds all of our adventures together, honestly.
Yes.
Very exciting. Well, obviously, you've had a big hand in Into the Light as well today. We're going to go ahead and dive into that here in just a bit. But, you know, before we go ahead and dive on, is there anything you guys are excited about today in particular, or should we just go ahead and show rather than just tell? What do you think? Show it is. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and dive on in. Dive on in, rather. So we're going to start off. We have a brand new social space, the Hall of Champions.
Ah, ils vont parler de l'espace social. Un tout nouveau? Vas-y, montre.
Responsible for taking us through that. So,
on veut des images.
The throne world, obviously, and dive on in.
Bring me your tithes.
Perfect.
Ah.
Excellent. There are tithes.
Elle va aller jouer. Elle va faire comme le frérot la semaine dernière. Elle va nous montrer un petit peu.
Hall of Champions is a brand new social space here in Destiny 2. Where is this? Where are we going to, like, where's this place been? Why are we checking it out now?
So Shax has carved out just a little bit of the backstage of the tower.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a few little fun nods
Oh,
here
on a des images. On a des images.
Yep. All right, well,
C'est où ça?
Yeah, we've got Kelsey on screen here. We got Sweepybot. And this is
Oh
actually
non, ça c'est du recyclage. Mais qu'est-ce qu'elle fout là, Eva?
This is where they keep it all the time.
Yeah, this is where, you know, there's an off season for a lot of the holiday events.
Yeah. Little pile of stuff.
Ok, c'est...
Yeah, there's a little snow there. There's some greenery.
This is interesting. All right, so we found a bit of the storage.
C'est l'espace de stockage, les gars, de tous les events.
Maybe that has been hiding in plain view potentially for other sweeper bots or red jacks around the tower.
And there's some stuff from.
Elle peut ouvrir mon garage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Little,
Noah put it here himself.
Yeah. No, and all this space.
Ah oui, putain, le viseur, ouais. Ouais. Et du coup, c'est la recluse revisitée, du coup, là. Avec un nouveau viseur. J'avoue, là, la tête de... Oh.
Shax has kind of set this space aside and into the light where all your armor, your weapons, your rewards.
Non, c'est un espace social ici, c'est un espace social. Tu vas pas te mettre à rafaler avec ta recluse.
Kelsey, can you go ahead and show us a little bit? We're going to go ahead and walk up here. We see a whole bevy of chests actually. Let's go.
Ah ouais, le butin là.
How do we go ahead and start cracking these open rather?
Yeah.
Ah oui, faut ouvrir là.
This space is just full of chests. You can see here all the class icons on the floor. A little bit like 30th. you can come here to redeem this currency, trophies of bravery that you're going to earn from completing Onslaught and from playing the broad
les
game of
trophées de
Destiny.
bravure.
So all of these trophies here, if you progress your hype with Shaxx, you'll be able to spend them here at all these chests to get a really cool set of armor. I can pull open my character so you can see what that looks like.
Elle nous montre le set d'armure. Oh bah c'est le set d'armure qu'il nous avait montré dans la petite image. Ah et du coup il y a un nouveau lance-grenade aussi, un nouveau lance-grenade lourd aussi.
Tom, this is the parade armor set, I believe is what we're referring to it as.
So like it's the D2 Year 1 parade armor.
That's right. Yeah.
You had it in Homecoming. It's kind of a classic set. We're again like full circle here with we were like beginning the Destiny 2 saga there, and now we're kind of ending the fight here. We're getting ready to take the fight to the Witness, and Shaxx has got this.
Un petit coup de nostalgie.
We're calling the parade armor 2.0.
Yeah.
And
oh, l'armure du chasseur, je suis pas très fan. Hein.
It's available to all players, and there's some other cosmetics we can show off here that kind of play with it too.
Very nice. And also too, for folks out there, we have the hunter here. Actually, Kelsey, can we check out the armor set one more time?
Yeah.
The folks at home. Also too, so this is an up close and personal look, obviously, at this armor set, which will be available to everyone that goes ahead and jumps into the light. Also too, there's a Titan set and a Warlock set. We should
bon, skin qui sera gratuit pour tout le monde, je rappelle.
Key art as well, but obviously this will be arriving on April 9th.
Qui sera farmable donc dans la nouvelle activité.
Yeah, it's looking fresh, honestly. I'm not too.
Le casque ça va, mais.
Oh boy, and
really interesting.
Fais voir le titan là. Moi je veux voir le titan là. Ah moi je veux voir le titan les gars. Moi je suis là pour le titan. Oh, il y a encore un coffre là. Il est ouvert l'autre à gauche là. Hop hop hop.
Is that our site over there as well?
Yes, that is our site. And one last chest I want to point out here.
Oh, please.
This one is going to be your hub for just grinding out weapons. So those trophies that you'll be collecting with Shaxx, you can just keep redeeming them here, and you'll be able to get all your guns here.
Ah, on va pouvoir concentrer les armes ici.
D'après, je crois. The Thunder Gods. So if you need to catch up on your power level to make sure that you're like ready to hop right in, that's something you can do as well.
That's right. And honestly, it's again, as a reminder, this is available to all players. And so if you've got any friends that maybe aren't quite at that powerful cap, also too, actually, should double check. This will bring folks up to the powerful cap, was it?
Powerful, not pinnacle.
That's right.
Le commis du mode.
Right. So for your friends that want to go ahead and dive in right alongside you, even if they maybe haven't played, very much recently, they got a chance to go ahead and just catch right up.
They'll be ready.
Be ready for day one. That's right. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and talk to Shaxx actually as a starting point. So how are we going to be working with Shaxx? Obviously, he's opened up his den of antiquities to us. But Kelsey, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we need to pull out all the stops in defeating the Witness. So
ils auraient pu désactiver la voix de Shaxx là derrière.
As you can see, Shaxx is really like the shining star of this area. I've been kind of panning by all these hollow Shaxxes that line the space, which I'll be happy to talk about in a moment.
Oh yes.
But yeah, let's
Vas-y, fais voir. Oh, il y a encore des récompenses là. Il y a des alliés, des éclats. On a des contrats. Elle a 66 000 d'argentum, les gars. Il faut qu'on en parle.
Interesting.
This key.
A super black key. Is that what I'm seeing over there, Kelsey?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I wonder where that.
Le 9 avril, ça arrive le 9 avril.
Maybe people that are D1 vets potentially from back in the day might remember this. Is this what's this symbiote?
Qu'est-ce que c'est ça?
Yeah,
c'est le truc du jardin noir, ça, non?
It's in containment, but if you keep playing into the light, you'll be able to get access to the keys you need to unlock this. And get access to the shader.
Oh, it's so good. All right. So obviously, too, yes,
on aura un revêtement une fois qu'on aura ouvert cette porte, apparemment.
Rewards available through this will indeed be the return of the super black shader. It's back. Finally, it's back. There's probably some song lyrics to go along with that. I couldn't tell you what they are, but I will say to the Destiny fashion subreddit, we are prepared for you to go ahead and take this on wholesale. So actually, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and just equip super black and give it a look really quickly. Oh,
en ouvrant la porte, on aura ce camouflage, les gars. Oh, il va falloir l'ouvrir la porte, les gars. Il va falloir l'ouvrir. Je veux ce camo. Je veux ce camo. Et ce camo, du coup, on l'a en ouvrant la porte bleue derrière.
Super Black is waiting for us. So tell us a little bit about our site as well. Actually, I'm not sure if many people in the chat know about him. He's usually lived in lore entries, but let's go ahead.
Le robot, par contre, il est tuné. Il a les cornes du Seigneur. Ah, magnifique là, le camo full black là. Ah oui, lui.
Some pretty interesting things in my opinion with some of the quests you can pick up from our site. They're going to unlock a couple things. They also have very...
Ah, on va pouvoir donc dropper les armes quand même.
A lot of fun working on. For every single weapon that we're going to be talking about today, there's a corresponding quest. Once you've completed the quest for that weapon, you're going to be able to unlock access to that weapon dropping as rewards. But there's two other really cool things that we can talk about there. One, we have these special limited edition appearances for the Brave Arsenal.
Yeah.
So completing these quests, you're going to get a guaranteed, curated copy of these limited edition weapons.
Excellent.
Which I'm happy to show. They look rad. And you'll unlock attunement, which is something I can talk about in a second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's take a look at some of these.
So here's a look, of course. Obviously, for the folks at home, they may remember this one. I get a hunch that
Lance-grenade du Seigneur, là.
But I know, it's so exciting. The mountaintop has returned.
Micro-missile frame.
So this is a quick look at the mountaintop. Obviously, Chris, we're going to dive in more with the whole...
Il y a encore avec le viseur, là, avec la tête, là.
This is, I believe she touched on the limited edition versions of these, the ornaments that exist on there. Can you tell us a little bit about what the limited edition variants of these are that are available over the course of Into the Light?
Sure, yeah. So the Brave Arsenal weapons will drop from Onslaught, and we're talking a little bit about attunement and whatnot here. There is a low chance that one will drop as a limited edition variant, which comes pre-equipped with
c'est moi la
super
perque
shiny
de la
ornament
recluse.
that's
Yeah.
locked to that weapon.
Yeah.
So the transit here is the limited edition variant. These are
On a des perks bonus par
exotic
contre.
levels of fancy.
Yeah.
So you can't apply shaders to the ornaments. You have to remove the ornament first.
Got it.
The ornaments
On a la guillotine.
will only be available up until the final shape launches.
Yeah.
Or the limited edition.
Putain, du coup, elle a un abyssal, mais ça fait doublon du coup, là.
All right. So there's the ultimate I was there version with the limited edition on there.
Oh, ça fait doublon, là. Ils auraient pas dû la mettre abyssal, la nouvelle, là.
Be able to get these weapons and keep farming for them.
Yeah, there's like they have super cool visuals. They drop with double
Du coup, voilà, on a le retour du marteleur, mais bon, version
So if you've got a great base weapon, you don't need to go and get
Just cosmetic.
dans la lumière, quoi.
Fair enough. Makes sense. Absolutely. All right, we're going to be able to test
Avec
these out a little bit.
boucherie.
So,
Attends, elle a
obviously,
boucherie et
we're
des
gonna go
comptes
through all these
meurtriers,
here
par
just a
contre.
bit. Chat, there's a taste of just a few. We're glad that you get a chance to go
Ah
ahead
oui.
and check it out. But also, too, for the folks that want to go ahead and farm these rolls out. Kelsey, I believe you just mentioned attunement. Can you tell us a little bit more about that before we move on?
Yes, I'd love to. So one cool thing that you can do when completing these weapon quests, once they're available at our site, is attune to a weapon. So let's say that there's a weapon you really want to drop. You can bend luck in your favor and make it more likely
Non, elle est
for that weapon
1830 avec l'artefact, là. Ou
So,
c'est
for
bugué,
example,
ou...
I can do that now.
Non, on n'a pas d'augmentation de lumière, là.
Let's do...
Ça m'étonnerait.
Let's do recluse.
Yeah.
So
Chat seems to be pretty hyped on Recluse.
Ah, il y a d'autres portes bleues à ouvrir, les gars, là. Il y a d'autres portes bleues, là. Ça, c'est des récompenses, hein.
Shacks is everywhere, which we just had an absolute blast working with and coming up with. And once you've unlocked attunement,
Oh, ça
you
doit
can
être
just
bugué,
really do
ça,
this at any
c'est...
time. You can change your attunement at any time. You can choose which weapon has a higher chance of dropping. So I'm going to do that now. Okay.
There we go.
Got our thumbs up. We're
Get
good.
the affirmation from Shax, never hurts.
Yeah.
Et de quoi, apparemment, là, il a augmenté les taux d'apparition de la recluse, hein, c'est ça?
Very effectively, I might add.
Yes. So yeah. At any point, you can just visit another one. I could even just go and, unattune and reattune to my heart's content. Just once you've unlocked it, you can do that at any time. Awesome. So yeah, pick your favorites that you want to chase and
Ouais, c'est ça, tu peux augmenter le taux de loot de l'arme que tu veux, là.
Obviously, the Hall of Champions has a lot in store. There's even more, obviously, chat than is even here, but we see what you're saying in chat. I feel the electricity in the air. I should also note one more thing. You should all go out and farm with impunity to go ahead and get the rolls you want, ultimately, because with the arrival of the final shape, we'll indeed be adding 100 more vault slots. So go out there, grab the rolls, grab 27 edge transit, and hold on to them until you get a chance to
Les liens.
which one has the god roll. All up to you.
J'avoue, il faut
but
ouvrir les portes,
just
là.
want to let you know that with the arrival of the final shape, you'll be getting 100 more vault slots. So go ahead and dive on in and grab whatever you want to go.
Oh, il vient de dire un truc. Oh, les gars, 100 de place de coffre en plus, là. Eh, faut que je me concentre, là.
I think that's a solid tour of
Mais
the
pour
Hall of
l'arrivée de
Champions.
Final Shape, donc.
I think maybe at this point we go ahead and start diving on in with the Brave Arsenal. Tom, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll hop in. Let's,
Le coffre qui augmente de 100 places, les gars, pour te Final
There we
Shape.
go. Excellent.
Yeah.
We got some demos to run as well. All right, everyone. So this is
Bon,
as a
c'était
quick
sûr,
look
mais...
at the Hall of Champions as well. Now we're going to go ahead and dive on in and look at the Brave Arsenal. Now, Chris, course, obviously you were intrinsically involved with kind of setting this whole thing up, with building the Brave Arsenal, deciding what was out there. Can you tell us a little bit about, how you guys landed on this iconic set of Destiny weapons for Into the Light?
Yeah, and we all have our own favorite weapons internally, and wanted to make sure.
Ils auraient pu mettre plus 400, hein.
A ton of nostalgia for the whole like Destiny 2 weapon set.
Yeah.
If you look on Reddit or Twitter, there are hundreds of weapons that these could be.
Yeah.
Had to narrow it down to 12. It's like we
Ça a
couldn't
pété.
reasonably fit any more into the activity.
Yeah.
Ah,
Couldn't necessarily afford to make many more than that.
Here we go.
So it's yeah, a whole set of weapons from across.
J'aime pas la gueule
recent
du
ones.
pulse, là.
Most of them are from earlier in Destiny 3.
So for those who've been terrorized
Oh, le
by
camouflage
Blasters
par
and the
contre en
Crucible,
full
it's
black,
back
les gars, il est
now,
magnifique.
obviously.
Oh,
Honestly,
aïe,
Tom,
aïe,
let's
aïe,
go ahead and
aïe.
just kind of walk
J'adore.
through these. Let's go ahead and take us at a hung jury I see next as well.
Sure, I can just. Do you want me to?
Okay,
I'll just
start with the
mouse
blast.
over them here. Blast furnace, hung jury,
Jury returns as
Wow.
well.
session.
For anyone that has
Ils ressortent en succession, là? Attends. Et en plus, il s'appelle pareil.
Yeah, please.
Ah bah, il s'appelle pareil en plus. Ils se cachent même plus que c'est du recyclage. Ils s'appellent l'arme pareil. En plus, attends, mais il est dans le même emplacement que le... Et il est dans le même emplacement que le succession en plus.
Yeah. Which honestly, once you get Succession in your hands, suddenly everything feels so alive. Like it's like
Après, pour les personnes, en fait, c'est du contenu gratuit, donc pour les personnes qui n'ont pas les, par exemple, Beyond Light, au-delà de la lumière.
Midnight Coup obviously makes an incredibly triumphant return. Actually, can you adjust it just so it shows the waves in the shading?
Ah ouais, Power 1830, ouais. Ah, je sais pas, on va peut-être augmenter la lumière là.
One of my favorite times in the Black Armory.
Oh, il y a le trait d'origine qu'il faudrait qu'on lise après, les gars. Du coup, charge explo et frisson cinétique là. Ah, et après, il y a le Luna. Il y a le Luna juste après. Ah, il y a un tronc là expliqué aussi. Hein. Il y a Intolérance aussi. Slideshot. Oh non, merde. Il y a la paire qui a fait chier.
But you guys have brought them forward with new perks. You've kind of done some redesigns as well. With Luna Howls in particular, you were mentioning that the Magnificent Howl perk has undergone a rework as well.
Yeah, in its original shipping form, that was.
Elle a la perque. Elle a la perque.
Two-tapper Guardian in PvP, incredibly fast with the perk up.
Yeah.
180 RPM. So,
Attends, après, il y a un monde, ils ont changé la perque. Il y a un monde, ils ont patché, ils ont nerfé. 540.
So it's super easy to control the recoil.
Yeah.
We've also redesigned the Magnificent Howl perk. So that now lets you build up stacks of super bullets. A little bit reminiscent of Hawkman.
Yeah.
With precision final blows.
Yeah.
Ah, ils ont changé la perque là.
Those on Guardians to do massive damage. You can get a two-tap, but it requires a little bit more effort.
Yeah.
And obviously very strong in PvE as well.
Yeah. Got to bide your time and actually land those headshots.
Yeah.
I'm saying that mostly to myself in the mirror as I get upset for losing another round of trials, but.
So we had two hand cannons in this release, Midnight Coup and Luna's Howl.
That's right. Yeah.
We assigned those to two different
Coup de minuit.
designers.
Yeah.
And there's a competition going on to see which one is more popular or is more effective.
Oh, really? So everyone out there in chat right
going
now should let us know which one of those two ends up being their favorite.
Yep.
We have an actual debt to settle internally here by the sounds of it. Which one do you think is better, Chris?
Ouais, ils ont changé la perque. Ouais.
I'm a little biased.
Bah, c'était trop fort avant, c'était trop fort. Moi, ça me va, tant mieux, tant mieux, tant mieux.
Oh, yeah.
Parce que sinon, ça aurait été une méta. Après, ça m'aurait pas dérangé une méta revolver, mais on serait tous avec le même. Quoi.
So actually, here's a cool one as well. This is no longer.
T'as un moment zen Desperados, yeah.
This is Elsie's rifle now.
Yeah, Elsie's no longer a stranger.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, this is a really iconic Destiny 1 weapon that
Ah, ouais.
everyone who played through the Destiny 1 campaign would have acquired as the Stranger's
À la fin, là, quand
It's
le
come
jardin noir, là.
forward with as close to its original feel as we could manage, updated for the Destiny 2 sandbox. It's got a ton of cool new traits. It's really very, very.
Par contre, j'ai hâte de voir le viseur quand tu vis, ça donne comment là? Parce que là, il y a la grosse tête là, de je sais pas comment appeler ça.
Oh, yeah.
Which we made for Bolt of Glass.
Yeah.
The D2 version, which harks back to the original perks on the Stranger's Rifle in D1 as well.
This one already looks filthy, if I might say, with Zen Moment and Desperado on there.
Oh, il ressemble un peu au trop long expliqué, mais il a pas la même couleur, il a pas le même viseur.
And also too, so there's a new, actually, as long as we're there, Tom, if you wouldn't mind actually opening that back up, there's a new origin trait.
Ah oui, allez, parle-nous de trait d'origine. Des kills vous donnent de l'énergie de grenade quand vous jouez une doctrine de la lumière, et sinon de l'énergie de mêlée quand vous jouez avec une Ok. Une doctrine des ténèbres.
Yeah.
Ok. Bon bah leak. Ok.
All right, Tom, let's go ahead and keep checking out. What else do we have in store here?
Ok.
Forbearance as well. So this is you were talking about.
Bon, on a
obviously getting that
intolérance
taste
là.
of raid weapons.
On a non mais
How
le
did you guys
pire
go
c'est
ahead
qu'on
and
a
bring
c'est le même
forbearance
type,
forward
ils ont
also
pas
to
changé le
into
type.
light? Like what did you add new perks
Et
in
au moins de
the
coup
tool,
le
or what did you
tolérance
guys end up
avec
doing to kind of retain that classic feel?
rupture perturbante et réaction en chaîne.
The Witch Queen version, but with slightly updated perks. So the perk pools are fairly similar, but with a couple of spicy additions. So you'll notice disruption break, left column.
Ah le viseur j'aime bien par contre. Hein.
Waveframe grenade launcher, super strong.
Yeah.
It's not something that you get on the original version.
C'est le trop long version
But
8.
it's got all of the old classics.
Bungie elle n'a plus rien à foutre. J'avoue que là c'est du CTRL C, CTRL V. Mais ils ont bossé sur le viseur les gars, sur le viseur il n'y a rien à dire.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so good with that ornament on there. And of course, I think was that a limited edition ornament on the recluse as well that you have over there?
Yep, there's a base and
Look at the.
Oh, let's take a look.
Alors fais-nous voir la recluse là.
There we go. That's again.
Ah, le camo est beau par contre. Hein. Le revêtement je le trouve magnifique. Hein. J'aime bien moi.
Yeah, and this one is the curated version.
Le coup kill. Ah, skip pas, je veux lire la perk. Parce que du coup ils l'ont sûrement changé aussi la perk ici, comme ils ont fait avec le Luna. Putain, ils ont skip. Et lui c'est quoi? Adaptive frame. Est-ce qu'on avait besoin d'un autre lance-grenade lourd? Est-ce qu'on en avait vraiment besoin?
Yeah, I was gonna say we were talking about that earlier. You're saying this one just hits like an absolute ton of bricks now.
Ah.
You can see some of the perks there. It's pretty wild.
De toute façon, il n'y a aucune nouvelle arme en fait. Hein. Il n'y a aucune nouvelle arme. Hein. C'est que des anciennes armes qu'ils ont repris, qu'ils ont changé le viseur et mis une couleur du Seigneur. Ouais, et du coup, ouais, la lame impatiente, l'épée aussi là.
This is also going to be probably the first sword outside of those available in Crota's End, I believe, that has sword logic on it as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Roll with sword logic.
Seemed like a great opportunity to put that perk on something that isn't from that raid.
Ah, l'épée, la perk logique de l'épée?
Raid perks onto a new weapon.
Yeah. I'm also going to echo chat here for a second. Is that Eager Edge I see on there?
That is
Ah,
Eager Edge.
lame
Yeah, it's
impatiente.
going to be the second sword outside of 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
Have access to
It
that.
would basically just be the slammer and then the falling guillotine from. Yeah, that's it.
Ça sert strictement à rien.
Yeah, and this one has like the classic void perk combo of repulsive.
Après, c'est une épée gratuite pour tout le monde. C'est bon après.
Honestly, yeah. And then, of course, we're also joined by...
Et après, par contre, on a le marteleur du Seigneur. Lui, en PvP, ça va être n'importe quoi. Hein. Oh, aïe, 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 aïe. Boucherie des comptes meurtriers, là. Oh, avec le viseur du Seigneur, là. Elle, en PvP, va tabasser les gars. Il y a en PvE aussi pour de démobage. Après, bon, est-ce qu'on va faire de démobage avec ça? Peut-être. Oh, allez, fais voir un peu de gameplay. Fais voir. Par contre, la sœur, elle joue en... Elle joue en 2 FPS, la sœur.
One of the things that was really cool about sort of seeing this development process behind the scenes was, you know, obviously one of the core tenets was to make sure that you're retaining that classic feel of these weapons and kind of what made them so great to begin with. But you've kind of done some redesigns and expanded even just on the loot pool, or pardon me, on the perk pool rather. How did you guys kind of go about the process of sort of rebuilding these weapons for this modern era of Destiny?
Yeah, I mean, we held off on bringing Mountaintop into the sort of...
Elle va faire un secteur oublié. Allez, la recluse. Oh putain, ça rappelle des souvenirs, ça, la recluse là. Avec le sommet en plus, là, ça c'était le starter pack en PvE, ça. Putain. On reste dans le passé, quoi. Vas-y, fais péter le baril, là. Tu l'as vu, le baril, là. Voilà. La sœur, elle joue sur la Switch. J'ai l'impression qu'elle a le jeu en 30 FPS, hein. Sans déconner, hein. C'est peut-être l'effet Twitch, j'en sais rien, mais...
So obviously too is going ahead and adding just not only to the perk pool but kind of the intrinsic feel of these weapons. Were there any others in particular when you guys were working on them where you're like, yes, this is how this change needs to go? Like obviously Magnificent Howl got a change, but is there anything else in that pool that feels like it was really kind of a cool leap forward for these weapons?
Ah mais attends, mais c'est pas la sœur qui joue en plus, c'est le mec. Tiens, connard.
The Black Armory version rolled with scopes, which like everyone would just pick the best scope. Like internally, we felt like the Rasmussen ISA scope was like.
Je sais plus.
And with the changes,
Il en a rien à foutre du coffre d'Arco. Le mec, il a ressources illimitées là. T'as vu? Le mec, il a 1 million d'éclats légendaires.
Scope geometry, but it can roll barrels instead, so you get all the benefits of stats.
Oh, awesome.
Stats are already pretty juiced.
Yeah.
But you have that classic scope geo.
Actually, also too, to channel chat one more time, as a quick heads up as well, these weapons, while they won't be craftable, they are going to be enhanceable, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So these weapons will retroactively be enhanceable when the final shape comes out. So
Oh, elles auront les perks améliorés les gars avec le final shape. Comme les armes là que je vous ai dit l'autre fois, là, les armes de prophétie et tout là. Ah, le viseur, j'aime bien par contre là sur le pulse.
Yeah, you were just talking about Blast Furnace, so I thought I'd hop over to it.
It's thematic, yeah.
Nice and smooth, like it always was.
Kelsey, actually too on your side, obviously having this new tapestry of rewards to work with has been pretty exciting. As you kind of went ahead and sort of hatched your plans of how players would go about getting these, kind of what role did these weapons play, I guess, in the overall reward structure?
Je l'ai beaucoup joué cette batteuse, moi.
Release to be all about the weapons.
Yeah.
The shining stars, they're awesome. I saw people were asking a little bit about what we're going to be getting from Onslaught.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chests in there, and every single chest has a weapon in it.
Je crois ouais, c'est le plus là de trucs sombres là, l'arsenal sombre.
So if you tune a weapon, anytime you see a chest, it's going to happen. So
excellent.
Every set, not every wave, that'd be crazy.
Ah, il y a peut-être une maintenance sur le jeu là.
There's a chest with a weapon in it.
On est mardi hein.
At higher difficulty, there are 2 chests. They both have weapons in them. And if you keep the ADU alive throughout the entirety of Onslaught, there's another bonus chest available. So you can get a lot if you just keep yourself kicking and get all the way through there, keep the ADU up. There's a lot of guns to be had.
So those folks who are going to dive into the Legend 50-wave version of Onslaught are going to be well rewarded for those efforts. I'm asking partially for myself, obviously, as well, and my fire team at home who might be listening.
Weapons team is really excited about attunement because it gives players some control over the drops that they get, but it retains the excitement of those drops. Like you will get your blast furnace dropping from the chest. You don't have to go and focus it.
Ouais, si c'est gavé long de le faire en maîtrise.
Actually, also too is you guys are also players of the game. Chris, were there any roles or weapons in particular where it was just your personal favorite that you had a lot of fun with in a playtest, or?
Probably of these weapons, my favorite is blast furnace.
Yeah.
With that classic scope and the role that I've got on mine, the role that I'm going to try and get in retail, is Headseeker Kill Clip, which is like just really nasty in PvP.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to. I'll put another few hundred hours in the Crucible.
I'll be right there with you, honestly. The moment I can put Dead Man's Tail down again, then that will be the one that I'll pick up immediately after. Kelsey, also too, is I know we were talking a little bit earlier. You've been deep into the Onslaught playtests as well, so that means in addition to the Brave Arsenal, you've got everything else at your beck and call. What are some cool builds you've been working on, honestly, to go ahead and really emphasize these new weapons?
Yeah, I've been really enjoying. Solar Warlock I found is really fun in Onslaught because you can find a lane and just completely nuke it if you get your,
là il parle des trucs qu'ils ont joué là en faisant l'activité, on s'en fout quoi. Moi je vais y aller en Titan Strand les gars, on va tout casser, on va détruire l'event.
Yeah, I tend to get a little feral, a little too excited. Sometimes having like heal clip on it or something.
Moi je me sers un peu de café en attendant.
It's part of, you got to be in the fight as much as you possibly can, and I say that partially as a Void Hunter who crutches on invisibility and runs away right away, so I understand and respect the hustle that
blah, blah.
Also too, we got a question from chat from Lil Camino, I think is how you pronounce the name. My mistake if you get it correct. But just to reiterate, will these weapons be attainable after the final shape arrives?
Yes, the base weapons will be, but the limited edition variants with those sweet ornaments will not.
Excellent. All right. So again, make sure you go ahead and dive on in once
okay,
Light is here. Make sure you get that I was there card, more or less. At least again, speaking for myself.
Il va falloir farmer les ventes quand même avant de faire une shape si vous voulez les versions avec les ornements, je crois. Pour avoir les ornements, je crois.
Process was it with Shax or our site rather?
With our site, yes.
Thank you. That's right. So, is this one that you guys have set up where it's like this is the go-to role? This is from our opinion, like one of our favorites, or what was the process of kind of building those curated roles?
Yeah, we try to deliver something which is like an extremely good role, not necessarily the single perfect role, because we want you to have a reason to go in and get excited for those drops.
Yeah.
Ce qui est dommage, c'est que la sœur, le mec il fait un secteur oublié, mais
God roll.
Yeah.
faut aller mettre un petit le truc agression là. Avec les 50 manches là.
Final shape comes out, so go ahead and just farm away. Now's the time. Sorry, Kelsey, were you going to say something more?
Yeah, we also just wanted to make sure people weren't completely at the mercy of RNG when it comes to getting these limited edition variants. So if you log in, you do those quests at our site, you can get one guaranteed copy of a limited edition of each weapon with that curated role.
Yeah. See, we're getting, again, I think, obviously, Tom is here in the heat of battle, so to speak, but the origin trait, we just got another question about, actually. So for the folks at home, it's indomitability, or?
Yes.
Thank you, all right. And that one, can you, again, walk through that origin trait for us one more time?
Yeah, so on final blows, it grants you grenade energy if you're running a...
Là, il reparle du trait
Here we
d'origine.
got it on screen.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, which would be Arc Void or Solo, or melee energy if you're running a Darkness subclass, which would be Stasis or Strand.
Got it, okay. So I can go in there's a Stasis main and just throw all the shurikens I possibly have. Yeah, there's a more technical name for that. I'm sorry, I got it wrong out of the gate. All right, let's see here.
Contre le trait d'origine en PvE, par contre, c'est incroyable.
You know, we talked kind of at the beginning about what it was like to sort of pare down.
C'est trop de blabla en vrai, c'est trop de blabla là. On n'a rien appris pour l'instant là.
I can't imagine it was anywhere near as simple.
12 was a really small number when you're looking at that set of weapons. And if we'd gone by lists on the internet or even internally, could easily have ended up being half hand cannons. We had to restrict ourselves to 2.
Fair.
There were a lot that could easily have made the cut.
Yeah.
Bon, du coup, il y a 12 armes au total.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, though, between Midnight Coup and Luna's Howl, like a very, very solid cast to go ahead and come out of the gate here with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really strong.
Oh, il y a 12 anciennes armes qui vont revenir, quoi, Lunel. Mais bon, avec un autre skin et d'autres paires.
And also, too, is even, you know, recalling all the way back to the Black Armory. You know, that's, I think, a set of weapons that so many of us think back to so fondly. You know, again, I think one of the goals here was to go ahead and retain that original.
Il va refaire un secteur oublié là.
You guys went ahead and added in a bunch of new perks. Can you tell us what that process was like in terms of making sure those perks matched up with that?
Bon, là, il a pris le Succession du coup, qui est dans le même emplacement que le Succession classique. Et comme toutes les autres armes, c'est dans le même emplacement avec le même type. C'est dommage, ils auraient pu au moins changer l'élément de l'arme, quoi. Comme ça, tu dis par exemple là, je joue avec le. Par exemple, tolérance mais version solaire, j'ai quand même le tolérance version cryo du raid, quoi. Genre, ça aurait été mieux, quoi. Là, du coup, on se retrouve avec 2 tolérances cryo.
Yeah.
And made sure we put a few of those in there as well.
Yeah, and there's also, I'm not sure if we've seen it on screen yet, but there's a new perk that'll be joining this pool as well, won't there?
Yeah, there is. There's in this build, it's called Last Stand.
Ça, j'ai pas trop compris le move.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty sweet perk. If we could bring up the description of that when Tom is out of danger.
Which weapon is that?
There was one. It was on Blast Furnace, I think.
Vas-y, prends le Luna là. Ah, il veut pas le prendre le Luna là. J'ai envie de voir comment il rentre dans les mains là.
We'll let him defend himself briefly. But we do have a couple questions from chat as well. So there's one that asks, Flo's Knuckles, I believe. There we go. Can we grind Onslaught multiple times for multiple drops? I'm assuming this is just go ahead and dive on it.
Donc, dès qu'il est avec cette arme, elle vous donne un bonus dégâts de mêlée et. Non. Ok, les kills avec cette arme augmentent les dégâts et mêlée and grenade final blow, great large damage bonus that can stack.
Just keep going.
Dive on it, honestly. Yeah, go ahead and chase that roll, whatever you want. Also, too, one more quick question from chat. Mega125358, pardon me, Mega, asks, can you take the limited edition ornament off and put it on another copy of the weapon, or is it just on that one weapon?
So you can remove it, you can't put it on something else. It's locked to the weapon that it dropped on.
Makes sense, yeah. I mean, honestly, when it looks that good, you just gotta go ahead and stick with what you got, you know?
Yeah, if players have a favorite shader that they want to put on a weapon, they can remove it and put the shader on.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't shade the ornament.
You can go ahead and photo finish it up to your heart's content, obviously, that opportunity. Or super black, obviously, when the time arrives. All right, let's see. So, Tom, what are you running right now?
I've just been hopping around with all the weapons.
Voilà, il a repris le pulse.
And Elsie's rifle on.
Et il veut pas l'équiper le Luna là.
We're gonna make it meta for the sake of this.
They're both pretty solid weapons. Now here's that new perk that you both were talking about last stand. On
again, reminder: this name will be changing in the live version.
Yep.
Yeah, so weapon final blows grant bonus damage, melee and grenade final blows grant a larger damage bonus that can stack. So once you get this perk really rolling, it's very strong.
Yeah.
Sustain it.
Ouais.
Nice way to go ahead and clear out a bunch of red bars and then take down that yellow bar with ease if you go ahead and do everything correctly.
Yeah, it ties nicely into the origin trait as well, because the origin trait...
Là, ça dure 6 secondes en plus la perf là. Après avoir le bonus de dégâts quoi, parce que bon.
Really creates that loop, honestly. You just become the self-fulfilling prophecy of death at that point, which as a guardian is never a bad place to find yourself, frankly. Let's see here. Actually, also too is, you know, I know we touched obviously on Chris's personal favorite being Blast Virtus. Kelsey, was there anything when you saw this land back on the list of the Brave Arsenal where you were like, finally, that one's back?
Wow.
I was real excited about Luna's Howl.
I mean, that's just smart, honestly. That just makes sense.
Il va mourir.
Tom, how about you? Is there anything in particular that you know, obviously having taken such a big hand in helping design and sort of define all this stuff, you know, what are your favorite weapons and roles that have come out of this?
I'm pretty basic, pretty easy. I really am excited about Recluse and Mountaintop.
Yeah.
Like I just love that combo of being able to like get in close with an SMG and get the damage perk going and feeling really powerful, then being able to switch to the grenade launcher.
Ça va revenir méta ce combo là.
Mini rockets and be able to play around with getting a little more airborne is just like it's just fun.
I can already imagine some Strand Hunter doing that above.
Retour en. C'était quand ça cette méta là? C'était quoi? 2019, 2018 peut-être?
Accidentally blowing myself up, but it's a lot harder to do now. Like I remember back in the day, I would just like shoot my feet on purpose, and like it was usually like an instant death, and so you can really you get a lot more up close and personal with it.
Yeah, let's see. Fit nicely into a lot of builds. Honestly, I can already see a Tommy's matchbook build with that.
C'était le starter pack.
This guy is a warlock just murdering everyone. But that is to say, now there's an opportunity for more than just warlocks to be the floating weapon platforms out there in the game. Yeah. I know, Kelsey. I'm sorry. we can share.
Yes.
We can share.
Retour en 1804.
Particularly with the redesign of Manticore, there's a fun strategy.
Comment ça va,
how
Coréen?
effective it is, but like mountaintop to launch yourself way up into the air.
Yeah.
Switch over to Manticore.
Yeah.
You can just hover around.
Just seems like a fever dream I had one time, honestly. Also, too, for the folks at home that may not have seen the Manticore kind of redesign, can you tell us a little bit, too, about how the intrinsic perk on that works now?
Yeah, so it's... The way you use the weapon is fairly similar. We've tightened up its activation, so it will no longer activate if you're running downstairs and that kind of thing, which is pretty irritating. You can also just deactivate it by holding reload, and we'll do that.
Ok. Pourquoi il se retrouve à parler de la... On s'en fout. Alors il parle de la Manticore, là, du buff qu'elle a pris avec le patch de mi-saison, là, bon, Zef complet.
Very nice, honestly. Yeah, between that, Devour, the whole nine, obviously, there's going to be a lot of mobile weapon.
Là, il y a beaucoup de blabla. Ils nous ont parlé de pas mal de trucs en début de stream, mais là, depuis qu'ils font des secteurs oubliés, là, en vrai, on n'a rien appris. Hein. Le mec, il a eu le temps de faire 3 secteurs oubliés, on n'a rien appris. Ouais, une question du chat.
They do have kind of similar functionality. The big one is that the golden tricorn bonus is large, but doesn't stack once you get it. So the uptime on the new perk, whose name I can't remember, it's not in this book, we changed it, is that the uptime is higher.
Excellent, okay, makes sense. Also, it's we got another chat as well. Chat question for me, I should say. Will the weapon ornaments for Luna's Howl and the Recluse be equipable for the new versions of those weapons?
Yes, they will.
Oh, awesome.
Both for the base versions and for the variants, you can equip any ornaments that you've got.
Bon, après ça.
Some of those are showing up later in the season. In the Bright Dust Storm.
For anyone out there that might go ahead and check through the databases, they might have noticed something potentially.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't say yes or no, but maybe. Firm maybe, certainly. Excellent. All right, so we're doing a pretty good job.
Il veut pas le finishim, le mec derrière.
It seems like you're making some pretty good quick work of these lost sectors.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like he's played them before.
Maybe once or twice.
Oh, il s'est fait être le malaise.
it did work on EDZ.
Finish him, mais finish him le, mais finish
So Tom, actually
him.
also too is, you know, as you've kind of been helping sort of build a lot of what Into the Light is going to be, you know, what was the role that these weapons played? Like, why is Shaxx choosing now to go ahead and re-equip us with this particular set of antiquities?
And part of the idea is that it's like this forbidden arsenal, right? The things that aren't, that we've kind of set aside, at least in the Crucible and other spaces, and now in this kind of dire time with our backs against the wall, we need to, you know, kind of set aside those conventions and you know, really take every advantage we can in the fight against the Witness.
Mais je crois qu'on va rien apprendre d'autre de nouveau les gars, parce qu'ils nous ont déjà parlé donc des armes. Bah je crois qu'ils nous ont montré toutes les armes. Et ils nous ont montré l'espace social. Ah, ils nous ont pas montré les skins d'armure sur le Titan et l'Arcaniste encore. Moi je veux voir avec le camoufle black là. Oui Soussou, oui.
Particularly if you had been like looking at some of the meta heavy grenade launchers. You can just walk in and get edge transit.
Par contre, il a toujours pas pris le Luna. Hein.
Yeah. And also too, I just got word from back at home that.
Ah, le camoufle black, il est magnifique, ouais.
After last week's stream in chat, cheering everyone on. So if everyone out there wants to give him a quick yeah, great in chat, now's the time. Excellent. Alrighty.
I really like auto-loading hoster on Mountaintop.
Oh yeah.
It's, I mean, I've got
strong.
a fighting lion, pardon our dust loadout that obviously hinges.
Après, il y a un monde où on peut avoir tir de glisse sur le sommet. Hein.
I'm one of those. I'm sorry, everyone.
Si on a tir de glisse sur le sommet,
We're getting some love for no in the chat. All right, love to see it.
petite glissade, on recharge, glissade, on recharge, glissade, on
Over the
recharge.
course of developing
Ah bon.
this new reward structure, was there anything about it where you're like, all right, this is the moment. Like Onslaught is set up just right. Like, what was it like, kind of building this structure for players to go ahead and just reinvest in? I guess.
Yeah.
Je sais pas, Suprême, je sais pas.
Loot explosion going.
Yeah.
There's this whole conversation and how we want it to feel when you open the chest and all this stuff and all these people working together doing tech stuff to make sure it all worked great and everyone doing their part, and then you know finally getting in there and just running through and seeing everything just like I guess all of your work just like.
Par contre aussi le succession là en double comme ça sert à rien.
Really felt like it was coming together. I'm also really partial to when we start getting more icons and art coming in.
Ça y est, il a pris.
Tangible. When Shaxx finally had the guns in his hands in the and all the hollow Shaxx for wild.
Et j'ai oublié tout le temps le nom de ce revolver les gars, je crois que c'est le coup de minuit, un truc comme ça. J'oublie tout le temps le nom de ce truc.
We had a bunch of people in the room, everyone who's dedicated to the space in some capacity, and we were just brainstorming together and laughing and coming up with all these
Du coup là je crois il a charge explo. Là je crois il a charge explo, il fait frisson cinétique sur le revolver là.
So cool and awesome.
Yeah. Actually, also too, we got one more quick question from chat that caught my eye. Is the Master of Arms perk as powerful as before?
No, it's had to be toned down a little bit.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, it's still very strong. But yeah, that original version was pretty wild.
Kind of in a league of its own, certainly.
Mais j'ai pas entendu ce qu'il a dit, j'ai pas fait gaffe là.
All right, Tom. So what's your strat right now? Is it basically just Old West gunslinger?
I mean,
Oh, il a pris le Luna là. J'avais pas vu. Allez, enlève le coup de minuit là, fais voir le Luna là.
With Midnight Coup here, which just just feels so snappy and crispy. Like I just gotta point it in the right direction.
Bon après, est-ce que jouer revolver comme ça pour démober, tant prendre un rayon de soleil ou l'autre là, j'oublie tout le temps son nom aussi là. Celui de Rix.
Make them dance like in the Old West.
Pretty sure this is still the highest aim assist of any legendary hand cannon in the game.
Le Zauli, voilà, le flow de Zauli.
What are some roles, by the way? So obviously, I think you know they each kind of have their different PvP and PvE flavors. But in the PvE trenches, are there any roles in particular with this new kind of set of perks that you?
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a à faire pour le PvE là?
I mean, Firefly kinetic tremors is really, really strong. I think that was actually the role that Noah was running last week.
Yeah, he was making it look pretty good, thankfully.
Yeah, he's smart.
And Noah's all right at the game, as it turns out.
Yeah. What else? I think the role that we've got here on edge transit, which is cascade point left column.
Yeah.
Being able to just like mag dump a whole drum grenade launcher, it's really strong.
Yeah.
The burst damage potential is wild.
And also too, actually, another question from chat: to get the double perk rolls on the weapons,
Il a pas point de cascade là sur le truc.
onslaughts, or is there a chance for them to drop with double perks in each column, regardless?
There is always a chance.
Hey, salut Bob. Et salut Requez, comment ça va?
Yeah. And also too, just a quick reminder is the quests from Shax.
Oh, il va enfin jouer avec le Luna, je crois.
Have a higher chance of giving you one of the limited edition variants, or?
Ah, le marteleur, il est très bon. Que ce soit en vrai pour du PVP, il est incroyable. Et là pour le PVE, bon bah, si jamais vous voulez faire de démo badge avec une lourde, il va être incroyable aussi.
Double perks and the awesome appearance on it. So that was actually a really fun thing. Once it kind of got that implemented, playing through the first time, you just naturally got one.
Yeah.
Like you'd be in a playtest and like, oh, I got one.
Bon, le retour de Luna.
It's just a really fun.
It's
fun
kind
feeling.
of even just that excitement of like when you're out there doing a dungeon farm or whatever the case is, and you're checking through all the guns that are sitting in your mailbox, and you're just like, oh, that initial set of rolls is pretty cool, and then you click in and you're like, wait, I can curate this to exactly what I want it to be.
Ouais, il va aller faire un autre secteur oublié.
So as a quick reminder to everyone,
Et ça va nickel, merci.
The Brave Arsenal will be able to drop from Onslaught at every stage, was it? Every 10 levels?
Yes, every set.
Excellent. Okay,
Ouais,
set.
ça.
Thank you very much. All right. See,
Toutes les divagues, bon bah, vous avez une chance de dropper les nouvelles armes. Allez, quel secteur oublié il va faire? Il va tous les faire, les gars. Dans le live, là, il va faire tous les secteurs oubliés dans la ZME. T'avais pas vu Bob? Bah oui. C'est sorti avec le jeu des gardiens là. Il est concentré de ouf le frérot en haut à droite. Non, Rangway.
And actually also too, so a lot of questions in chat about the pools of perks that are going to be available, the weapons that are going to be available. You and your team over on the weapons team have also gone ahead and authored a blog that will be hitting Bungie.net tomorrow, I believe. Yeah,
that's going to list out all of the weapons and all of the perks that can appear on them. So
no
mystery about the perk pools as of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Demain on aura
plenty of opportunities for all the build crafters out there to go ahead and go.
On aura donc un article avec toutes les armes et les perks qu'on pourra avoir dessus. Bon, on regardera peut-être ça, bon.
Actually, so also too, we've talked a lot about the Brave Arsenal. Let's go ahead and touch on the parade set again. What was kind of the inspiration behind that set and kind of bringing it forward?
Ouais, ils ont remis Luna, mais bon, ils ont nerfé la perk. Hein.
Rather that I know Tom was mentioning, but why is Shax choosing now to equip us with this armor set?
Et salut Mobius, comment va?
I frankly wasn't as involved in those kind of conversations.
No, it's okay.
It was actually really
Avec le nouveau skin.
fun.
Ah, moi je veux voir le skin. Par contre, ils auraient dû le remettre en full black là. Il est moche comme ça là. Remets-le en full black le skin là. Voilà, merci. C'est quand même mieux.
Yeah, it was. I think honestly that first look at them in the key art. Obviously there was an initial glimpse, and it's weird because even as good as they looked, they were almost like everyone was just immediately captivated by Onslaught, immediately captivated by like, is that?
Ah les gars, le meilleur truc là de l'événement c'est ce camo là. Aïe 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 aïe. Enfin, enfin. Oh, aïe 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 aïe, magnifique, magnifique. Là, j'ai rien à dire. Ah, mais non, mais le remets pas comme ça, remets-le en full black. Mais qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Excellent, alrighty. So let's go ahead and take one more quick run through. So is there anything else actually? So I know we've had a chance to walk through the Brave Arsenal. Tom, in particular on your side, we've gone ahead and kind of gone around the horn over here. Is there anything about this kind of new set of weapons and sort of the role they play and into the light that's got you excited about kind of the overall sandbox now that we're going to have available to us?
Il prenait sa meilleure gorgée.
Excited about a lot of these weapons are they're not god rolls, but they're pretty close to it. Like if you show up every week and you do the weekly quest, you're going to get something that is really pretty powerful. And it's going to be like, for example, just looking at like the hammerhead here, it's got rampaging, killing.
Ah ouais, là le marteleur par contre il va tabasser là. Boucherie avec des comptes meurtriers là. Ça va être n'importe quoi ça.
I could look at each one of these weapons too, and they like, I think we might have glossed over it earlier, but
le skin full black c'est pour ma CB. Non, il sera gratuit Mobius, il sera gratuit. Et c'est clair que pour eux, c'est clair. Non, les armes elles ont de bonnes perks hein, par contre. Hein. C'est franchement c'est pas mal, c'est pas mal. Franchement.
Reloading and then like getting kills with those activates cascade point, and I can swap over and dump the mag for edge transit, and like I could see similar things with hammerhead and forbearance, or with Elsie's rifle. Yeah. And then like there's also just some classic weapons here that I really miss that I'm really excited for Blast Furnace to be back, and I'm excited to see what it does.
Il va falloir aller chercher les god rolls donc en faisant l'activité avec les vagues là. L'activité assaut là.
Yeah. Someone who spends a lot of time in the Crucible, I'm terrified already. Proctor, thank you very much for all the hard work on that. See you and yours, obviously. All right, so I think we're probably getting to a point now. We've gone ahead and checked out the rewards. We've checked out the new social space. We've checked out the Brave Arsenal. It's probably about time for us to go ahead and start wrapping things up here. Mr. Tom Farnsworth, when you get an opportunity, feel free to go ahead and rejoin us. Relinquish your hold from the throne world, obviously. This is so fast. Your jump ship was right in orbit, wasn't it? I hear it's lovely this time of year out there in the throne world.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's Noah and Kelsey been keeping it warm for me in there.
That's true. All right, fair enough. Yeah, and again, we can use some sword logic later to expand it when the time comes. Yeah. But for right now, we've gone ahead and done our job. Well, for starters, thank you all so much for taking time to join us to talk us through, obviously, the Hall of Champions.
C'est fini.
Talk us through the Brave Arsenal, through everything with Into the Light.
C'est fini en fait.
It's been a great show. So thank you guys for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Et ils nous ont pas montré le titan ni l'arcaniste.
As a quick reminder, again, to everyone, we'll be back next week.
Non,
same
mais
Bungie time, same Bungie place, to have another live stream about everything. Or some including some exotic mission, some exotic mission content and the craftable weapons that'll be available to them. Chat, I saw you mentioning some stuff about that potentially, so come back next week. Also, we'll be going to go ahead and walk through the PvP map pack as well. So if you want to see everything that's going to be coming in those 3 maps, next week will be your time. And there might
ils vont nous parler des maps, nouvelles maps en PvP.
Never know, but and also too, the final thing we're going to go ahead and make sure you close with is, as a quick reminder, of course, with the arrival of the final shape, you'll be able to get 100 more slots in your vault. As you can go ahead
100 places supplémentaires dans le coffre. On va pouvoir passer à 600. Ah oui, il a farmé, hein. Ah, ça a farmé, hein. Le mec, il a 600 lance-grenades. Ouais, je pense qu'il a eu god roll.
Never hurts. All right, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to join us today.
Et ils ont pas montré ni le titan ni l'arcaniste.
Same Bungie time, same Bungie place. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you all Starside.
Bon, normalement, je crois qu'ils restent en live parce que là, leur drop là, pour les emblèmes, ils ont bugué la semaine passée. Normalement, ils restent en live si jamais, les gars. N'oubliez pas, si vous voulez vos emblèmes, là, il faut rester un peu dessus, là. Bon, bah, résumé. Ils ressortent plein d'anciennes armes et d'armes qui sont toujours actuelles, qu'on peut toujours dropper, qu'on peut crafter et qu'on peut donc avoir avec les perks améliorés. Vraiment, là, le coup du succession, je ne comprends pas. Et pareil, du coup, pour le tolérance. C'est au moins changer les types ou replacer les dans un autre emplacement, je sais pas, mais. On se retrouve du coup avec 2 tolérances cryo. Bon. C'est pas trop compris le move là. Après bon, l'espace social il est sympa. Après on a donc le revêtement full black, les 100 places supplémentaires dans le coffre. Et après on a le skin d'armure qu'on a juste vu le chasseur. Et ils nous ont pas montré ni l'arcaniste ni le titan. J'ai le démon.